Hello, welcome back to my studio. Today we're gonna work on the third section of this autumn sampler painting. So these are the leaves I collected from my backyard in front of my studio just before our first snow last week, and of course the backyard is completely wet and brown and gray now, but just before that it was so colorful, so beautiful and colorful, and all kinds of leaves were just falling from the trees, and I thought like, no, I didn't want to waste these colorful things. And sure enough, just the day after I collected these, we had a really freezing night, and then it got really wet. Then we had some snow. So this is our third painting section, and we're going to paint the orange leaf instead of well, I had other options like more green and more red, but I thought I wanna stick with the sampler theme, so this is a little bit different. It's orange leaf turning to dark brown, but you can see there was a little bit of a trace of green at the tip of the leaf, and it's just about to lose the greenness. So I might include that, I don't know. But so the way I'm doing is to alternate black background and brown background. So this is going to be brown, and the last one will be black. So I already started mixing my black and brown from the three primary colors of yellow, red, and blue. So my primary color I've been using is cadmium lemon yellow, permanent rose, and ultramarine blue. And this black is the custom black made from all these three primary colors, and this brown is just a variation of the custom black. It has more yellow and more permanent rose. So I'm gonna continue mixing dark brown and do my underpainting. And you can see that I already applied a thin wash of dark brown here. I added some Gamsol to thin the paint. Okay. I'm gonna get some Gamsol. Now it's showing more pink than yellow, so I'm gonna add more yellow to this brown. So I'm gonna add my custom black into this, which has more blue in the mixture. Because this is really too warm. So my custom black made from this limited palette is so versatile, unlike the regular black straight out of paint tube. It just shares the same pigment, so it's going to be pretty much harmonious no matter what you do with these colors. Okay, so I'm just gonna freehand and draw the basic shape. That's where the leaf ends. So this is will be the center of the leaf, but I don't want to put dark brown on that. Just want to have a more balanced shape both on the both sides of the leaf. It's a little bit big. Maybe this needs to be a little bit narrower. Okay, so I'm gonna just block in with dark brown. I need more paint. So basically making the edges and corners dark and create the vignette effect coming from dark edges to lighter version toward the center, so that it brings more attention to the center of the painting. In this case, the leaf is the star of the show. Okay. So I intentionally overran the background color of this gray on the top, so that I can come in with this brown to create better and more clean edge. Okay. Thinking maybe this is a little too intense, so I'm gonna add this leftover paint that leaning more toward greenish gray. Let's see if I can come up with more neutral version of this brown without making it too light. So basically I want this block to mirror this brown background, so it can add more gray to this. But by the way, this is the canvas holder that I just designed, and this is my prototype. It's 8 by 12. It's meant to hold and secure this kind of small canvas panels, so that we don't have to touch the wet paint to move it around, and also to elevate off the the base of the easel. And this is meant for painting from edge to edge on canvas. So if you like this kind of painting approach that covers your canvas with paint from edge to edge, you might appreciate something like this. And honestly, I haven't really decided how much I'll be charging for this, but this will be available soon. At least by Christmas for sure. So notice that after initial drawing of the composition, I'm not using any more Gamsol in the paint. So I want the paint closer to the leaf to be lighter, so I'm gonna lighten this. See if I can use this gray, a little left over white. So there's a little bit of white. I'm gonna bring it over here. It has some green. So that means I need to add more orange. On my palette I have red and yellow, so that's how I'm going to warm up this grade brown. I'm gonna test this. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of this paint that's building up on the Bristol. I could use a piece of paper towel, but I don't see why I should just throw away this pigment. It might become handy later. Okay, so this is the darker version and this is the lighter version. So I want to have 3 versions of brown. But first I'm creating light and dark version of the brown. Then white to adjust the value, then add yellow to bring the temperature warmer, because every time you add white, it makes the color cooler. So with that, darkening the paint again, the best option is to add yellow to warm up the color. I'm gonna test this on canvas. I'm also checking this to see if I can make this closer. So I'm not painting the leaf with the background color because I want it to be nice and yellow for the base. But I painted over the stem of the leaf because it's so small. So right now it looks like just a two-tone of light and dark. Now watch this. I'm going to create the halftone by having part of the light brown and dark brown. Then I'm gonna bridge these two extreme colors. Needs to be darker. So instead of blending two extreme colors on canvas, I'm creating the halftone to bridge them. And you can use a little bit of blending, but not over blending. So this creates a really nice and painterly look and finish, instead of making the painting look like airbrushed. Just using various brush stroke directions so that it doesn't look too monotonous. Okay. And I'm creating even the halftone between the dark brown and the halftone. Okay, that's close enough. It's pretty similar to the one on the right. I think this dark corner is a little bit too dark, so I'm just lightening, but I want to maintain this vignette effect. And also I want to make sure that the edge, the right edge of the background color, this brown, runs off into the right corner, the right section, so that when I paint the last block on the lower right corner, it will create nice sharp edges on both the top and the left side of the block. Okay. I'm wiping my brush with the paper towel. I'm gonna use a different brush. I've been using number 2 Filbert brush, and I don't have. Do I have another one? Okay, so this is another number 2 Filbert. It's clean. Just I'm moving these to create a clean mixing spot, mixing area. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna take this pure cadmium lemon yellow. So this is going to be the base. And I'm going to start building up with more layers. Basically, when I carve the veins of the leaf, I want to reveal this yellow base. Okay. So this is going to be the foundation of the leaf. Just adding a little bit of personality. Okay, now I'm going to start modifying this yellow. So this is the pure yellow, and I'm going to add some red to this. This permanent rose is very, very intense, so I'm just using just tiny bit of that, and it instantly turns this into really intense orange. So I'm gonna scramble this, just create more variation on this yellow leaf. So I'm not exactly copying the photo, but I'm using that as my inspiration. So I think I want to have more of greenish yellow on the tip, and it becomes more orange and darker toward the stem. So I'm kind of simulating my gradation on the palette before I even apply this on the canvas. All right. I think I'm gonna take some of this custom black, just a little bit of it. Then permanent rose and more yellow. So I'm preparing my dark red, dark orange here. It's almost like brown, but it's not the same brown as the background brown. So far I haven't used any white yet. I think I can use, so I'm switching my brush to the other brush I was using for background. So this already has dark brown on the bristle. And this orange has a little bit of blue in it too. So I'm just tapping this, basically staining the leaf with this dark red. And I'm leaving a little bit of yellow edges to kind of show the trace of this transformation. So I'm keeping my brush, the bristle and the brush handle very flat against the canvas so that I'm gently leaving the paint rather than scraping off and moving the pigment I just applied. Maybe I want to have something between these two extremes. So I'm adding some yellow into this orange. It's more like yellow ochre. So some custom black or just a hint of blue. I'm gonna test this. Okay, I'm just leaning back on my chair and evaluating what's happening. You know what? I think I want to make the left edge on this side a little bit darker. So I'm gonna grab custom black, which is just made of just 3 primary colors on my palette. Just gonna tap this. This is nice, very nice and rich red. I don't want it to be like purple, but then I'm gonna create a little bit of gradation from this. That was too much. I grab lighter color and just paint over it. Okay. So I'm gonna use the handle of the brush and see if I can carve this. Needs a lot of paint. Okay. I'm resting my pinky on the dry part of the canvas to stabilize my hand. It's not showing much color, so I'm gonna build up more pigment here. It's too dark. So just building up, kind of like peanut butter, like pasting peanut butter on the toast. It's not really visible in everywhere, but if we can just suggest few lines, that means you're successful. So maybe I can try here. Okay, that's not bad. Can also it's not showing, so you might need a tiny brush to actually draw with the paint. So this is I think this is number 1 round brush. I also have number 0 round brush. I'm gonna use that. That's the brush I usually use for signing my name on tiny canvas. see how this works. So this brush is number 0 that I just picked up from a local bookstore, the art section of a bookstore on campus. Not sure if it's even made for oil painting, but it doesn't matter if it's for watercolor, acrylic, or gouache, as long as it's skinny and pointy. The reason you want to use natural hair, like hog hair bristle for oil painting, is that it's easier to push the paint on canvas because the bristle is so much stiffer. But when you are just doing like detailed touch-up, it doesn't matter what hair is made of. I'm just getting this yellow, maybe a little bit of white to make it even lighter and a little bit cooler. So my brush stroke is nice and flat, and I'm resting my pinky on the dry part of the canvas, and just after each stroke I reload. And I wipe the bristle with paper towel because the brush is contaminated with the existing layer. So I'm just repeating this process after each short stroke, because my brush gets dirty. And I can also pick up different variation of yellow from the palette, so that it's not just a light yellow all the way down, because I can see this section is a little bit more like orange, but just slightly lighter. And I can start adding a little bit of highlight where the vein is creating this contour. Okay. I'm removing this excess yellow. So if you want, you can start adding detail with this tiny brush, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Just adding more red to create orange. You can even use this tiny brush to work on the edge of the leaf. Make sure you are using lots of paint, you're loading lots of paint on your brush. It's not easy, but it's rewarding. Running out of paint here. Okay, now I'm gonna work on the stem. I can keep using this brush. So the stem is more like a dark pink. So I have this pink, red. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to this. So I'm gonna start out with the dark version of it and add highlight later if I have to. Now I'm going to create a lighter version for the highlight. Basically adding white to that. Now I'm gonna make shadow of this. Basically, I'm just using the dark brown, which I used for the edges of the background. Just re-establishing this dark brown, adding back some custom black. Okay, but I'm gonna add a little bit of cast shadow on the right side of the leaf to suggest that this is not completely like paper flat, using this tiny brush. So the edge between the cast shadow and the leaf should be really crispy. Then the edge between the cast shadow and the rest of the background is relatively softer. And every time I touch the leaf, the orange paint, I need to wipe my brush because it's contaminated with the orange. And you can create a suggestion of this zigzag edge of the leaf by using this cast background color. So even if you think there's enough pigment left on your brush, it's simpler and easier to just wipe it with clean paper towel after each stroke to simplify your process, and then this becomes your second nature. Instead of trying to stretch the pigment on your Bristol and end up with a muddy color, which is the color that you aren't supposed to use on that particular spot of canvas. Temptation to keep using the same brush stroke. But the wider the cast shadow is, the higher the leaf appears to be off the table. Now I'm gonna go back to the cast shadow and just soften the edge between the edge of the cast shadow and the lighter brown background. This edge needs to be cleaned up. Okay. Now, let's deal with this tip. Did I say I wanted to keep this green? Maybe, let's do that. So, I'm gonna wipe this brush with yellow paint, orange and yellow. I'm gonna create a green version of this. Okay, some yellow, fresh yellow, and just hint of blue. I'm gonna just go test it here, and wow, that's too much blue. It's mostly yellow. I'm gonna test this. I want it to be like fresh green, not deep green. So I'm adding more yellow back to that mixture. So since I already have this side cleaned up and shaped, I don't wanna mess with that, so I'm gonna add green and have brush more flicked to the left side where we haven't worked on the edge yet. So that's my green sample, right? Okay, just adding more yellow back to the transition between the orange, the green, so I'm not including this dry part of the dry tip of the leaf. I'm just pretend that it's nice and nice triangle shape all the way to the tip without this brown dead part. Now I'm gonna go back to the tiny brush, picking up the background, dark background color, and I'm gonna start cleaning up this edge. Reshaping the leaf. So on the left side of the leaf, we need to be careful not to have too much cast shadow, because the light source is on the left side and the shadow is just mainly on the right side of this tabletop. But there's a little bit of shadow around it too. Okay, I'm gonna go back there with more paint. Just want to build up more edge. And also creating better gradation. From the edge to the core of the leaf, going dark. Okay. Now I have more pigment on the leaf. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the lighter version of this background color. And I'm gonna use this to carve out the shapes. Maybe a little bit darker version. So it's not exactly the lightest background color. Just like one level darker than the lightest brown. Just creating this zigzag. Keep wiping. And oops, there you go. If you don't have a small brush, you can just use number 2 brush to just go around the left side with more paint. softening the edge outside of the shadow. Okay, I'm just scanning the canvas to see what needs to be worked more on. I think I wanna just re-establish this little indentation with the dark brown. Oh, I think I need more orange here. It's kind of lost. Let's see if I can pull off from here. I added more pigment on the leaf. This is very detailed work, so I wouldn't recommend it if you're a beginner and you don't have a small brush. But if you have spare time and if you're perfectionist like me, you can keep working on this until you feel better or until you feel hungry. I haven't had dinner yet, so that's becoming more motivation to wrap this up soon. Okay. Yeah, don't want to overwork on the left side of the paint on the leaf. Maybe I want to just make this lighter to create a softer transition. I don't know. One thing I know for sure is that this stem can be a little bit lighter because it's in the light. So I'll add a little bit of white, mixing with orange, just warming up. See if I can add a little bit of highlight to just bring this up. Okay, that's too intense and too light. So I'm just adding a little bit of gray and this. This might do it. I have a little boo-boo here, so when I go back to the shadow color of the background, and I'm gonna clean this up. Wipe it again and go back here. I think this end of the stem is really dark. looking a little too light on the stem. That's a little bit better. Not bad. I think I'm gonna leave this alone. What about this the red thing? Okay. Just want to have a little bit more red here on the leaf, like a little bit of like brush. Grabbing just clean permanent rose, mixing with the orange on the palette. Just I want to have a little bit of accent. I think this yellow edge is a little bit too wide, just fixing it. Okay. How's that? Looks okay, I think. I think I'm done with this. I don't know, it's a little bit. Kind of wimpy. Just grabbing this fresh green color and just now I'm going to go back with the shadow color. Softening the edge. Phew. Alright, I think I'm done. Alright, now I can go eat dinner. And did I tell you that today's my birthday? So my husband is making dinner for me. Yeah. So my husband is making dinner for my birthday, and I got to do this live painting session with you guys. I can come back to do this the last one maybe in a few days. Well, happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you soon. Bye.